Hello, my YouTube world. This is Johnny Moe. Just love the back and forth that we've been doing on my deck talk. So I'm going to make deck talk 3 here. I'm going to continue on this vein. I'm going to explain myself a little bit better, considering a stander or a zero turn. Now, my zero turn are huge horsepowers, 36 horse, 32 horse, Vanguard engines, 61-inch decks. Let's go. I have a 52 that has a 30 on it, and it'll just cut some serious grass. I mean, it's overkill for that deck. So what does that mean? If I'm going 7-8 mile an hour, I have the potential to go 12. If I'm cutting 7-8 mile an hour, and I know that's what I'm cutting because I've GPSed myself before using my phone, I'm cutting at that, and I'm not losing any productivity because my blades aren't going to slow down. My engine can handle my pumps. My engine can handle my deck belt. When you're coming to a little stander, you know, outside of the ZK Killer, those things can go about 8 mile an hour. You're probably going to cut 4 or 5 mile an hour. You're not going to be flying around on those things. You know, I've seen videos where guys are cutting this much off and they're saying, look how fast this thing is. Look how good it cuts. You know, I wish I could say that in the springtime, I'm not cutting a lot of grass off. Average grass, I'm cutting off between 4 and 6 inches of grass. In the springtime, you know, until that weather hits 80 degrees solid for a couple weeks, our grass grows through the freaking roof. And every week, you're just hammering it. You know, I need a mower that can cut off at least 4 inches and spread it out over that carpet and make it look good. I don't need a bunch of clumping. I don't need to be cutting grass 2 or 3 times to accomplish that. I do have a bagger, and if it gets too high, I just bag it. Again, here's where speed comes in. You know, a lot of the places I do have places to dump. So I can travel my mower over there. I have a 13 cubic foot bagger that I can travel over to the wood line, dump it, and get back on. And travels just as fast back to my place where I left off. And I can go 12 mile an hour. Transport speed. A lot of places, you know, I go into development, I cut 7-8 lawns in a development, I can park in the middle and travel with my weed whacker and blower to the place I'm going to go and travel at 12 mile an hour. It's a little harder to put your weed whacker and blower on your stander. You can put it on the deck and you have to kind of go, you know, you're trying to go 8 mile an hour, you're losing time. That's what I'm talking about, guys. You're talking about between, you know, $7,000 and $10,000 for these standers. Listen, I bought my 52-inch mower for $6,000, and it has a 30 horsepower Snapper Pro on it. I'd rather sit with a suspension seat than stand on a suspension platform. It's my opinion. I think the Skags cut unbelievably, so you're not losing cut quality. In fact, in some instances, you're probably gaining some cut quality over me, you know, when it comes to zero turns. But I like the big boy, 30 horsepower and above. You're going in and out. You're slamming them out. Just boom, 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 boom. You're at one property. You're driving to the next property. Boom. That way I don't have to load my truck up every time just to go down 4 or 5 houses. I can just travel down the street with my zero turn at 12 mile an hour. You know, then you throw through that lawn. I mean, when you got 32, a 30, a 32, and a 36 horsepower just slamming the grass. I mean, it's just, you can go up a grade and it's not going to lose any horsepower. Yes, you're going to go through a little bit more gas, but I don't really care because it well makes up for it in time at the end of the day. And that time could be spent on getting another property and doing another lawn. It's about efficiency. If you have a bunch of standards, that's on you, and that works for you, and that's great. I'm very happy. You know, go out there and make money. You know, I've seen some guys cut some serious lawns with standers. You know, Brad or, you know, B&B Lawncare. I mean, his lawns look phenomenal. So I know that the standers can do a great job. Outside of Wright does not work for me at all. The Wright standers they just can't, you know, lay it out there on the grass. You know, just can't do it. I don't know why they can't do it. So I got a good question about the ICD deck and the problems that I've had with this deck. I've had to play with this deck and to get it to cut to the way I want it to cut. So, you know, Alpha Lawns gave me a question. I'm going to answer it in this. And I hope that this speed thing, I've clarified what I'm talking about when I'm talking about speed, power to deck ratio. And, you know, I don't buy anything below 30 horsepower anymore. It's just, for what I'm doing, it does not cut the mustard. You know, when I'm cutting grass, and you know, we live in Western Pennsylvania where our lawns have actual hills, and you need to get on the side. I can't be losing, you know, I can't be losing governor and RPMs going across the hill because the engine's just not strong enough. I need it to be slapping that grass right out the side or throwing it in the back in the bagger and being able to handle that. Hope that helps. So I want to get back to Alpha. He asked me a question about the ICD deck. I actually have my two blades here. This is a blade from the ICD 61 inch. Now I want you to notice this fan right here. This is a high lift blade. Okay, so when I'm cutting a lot of grass, what happens is when I'm cutting that grass, this overwhelms the deck when you're getting 5 to 6 inches of cutting off grass, or even 4 inches. Sometimes at 3.5, it just overwhelms the deck, and it causes a weird pattern, which causes a straight line to be actually looks like someone has a piece of stick on that is sticking down from the deck, and someone drug it through the grass between the discharge blade and the center blade. The only thing I can think of is what happens is when this blade's coming down, it's blowing the wind pattern down. When this is coming up to take it out, it's blowing the wind pattern a different way also. It's the only thing I can think of. So what I've done to fix this is I've went to the old style Ferris, which I had a Ferris before I sold it at the beginning of the year last year, that had a different type of blade on it. It was still a 61 inch blade, so I just tried it to see if it would cut down on this. So this is a big fan, okay, and you can see the little notch here. So it puts a lot of grass through that deck when it's high. So let me show you the Ferris blade. Now these are really old. I've had these for about 5 years. That's why. All right, now you can see the fan. It's the same length. I mean, it's the same height, but it's much smaller. The fan only goes to here. You're talking about it, and the other one goes to about right here. So it's not lifting and cutting so much grass and overwhelming the deck. I found these high lift blades are a little bit better for the ICD deck. Now, here's the caveat on this. If you have, you know, southern grass, or you have a place where grass doesn't grow as fast, which I don't know about that. Maybe you're in the Midwest and it doesn't grow that fast, or it gets to 80 a lot quicker than it does here. It usually takes between April 30th and June 15th is when we'll go through that real harsh growing season where every week that you come back, the grass is growing through the roof. Until it's solid 80 degrees, that doesn't stop. That's why they call it cool season grasses. And that just won't quit. So I had to find a way to stop overwhelming that deck to get that line to go away. And so using the old Ferris blades, the 61 inch, with the smaller, not as long as a fin, it helped it out. It almost virtually eliminated, except for when you're dealing with some real thick fertilized grass. And so that's what I did, Alpha. And hopefully that helps you out. You may never have that issue. You know, I don't know if, you know, I've worked with the factories on that to, you know, try to work with them. I let them know about the problem. I've taken that black strip off in the back. I don't like it. It caused a lot of stringers, and I just don't like the strip. And I even told the factory when I was working with them, I even said, you know, listen, I know you put that on to cover. Oh, no, we didn't, John. Oh, no, we didn't. No, I know you did. I know you did that because it doesn't cut, you know. And eventually, here's what they told me. Well, it's hard to make a deck to cut all types of grasses. Okay, well, let's just admit that up front. Let's not go through years of testing and me taking pictures and showing you and you know, and it's not like a guy a county over from me, you know, had the same issue. I found him on Lawn Site, gave him a ring, ended up talking to him, and he had the same issue. He eventually got rid of his deck. He went to Toro because he just couldn't figure it out. I just went with a different blade, and it worked well for me, and I'll continue to use it as long as it continues to work. And so that's what I did. If you guys are having trouble with your decks, try different, you know, blade cells, you know, high lift, medium, low lift. I tell you, there's a blade out there I just don't like, and I've tried it. The only time I use it is in leaf season, and this blade is simply the Gator mulchers, the G6, the G5. I don't care what G it is. those blades are aftermarket blades, and those blades were made to keep grass under your deck longer. Generally, it affects wind pattern and screws everything up. A mower deck is made to have high lift blades in most cases to get the grass out the deck, especially the throw and goes. You know, guys that keep using these gators, you know, they're good in dry conditions. You know, you put moisture in there, what you're doing is you're just building up little balls. Grass just goes around there, it sticks together, and it can't be broken apart. And then you just start spitting out clumps. I see this all the time on lawn site. People are like, what's wrong with my mower? It's not cutting right. Well, what blade do you have on? I have the G6, G5, Gator blades. There's your problem right there. What time of day you're cutting? Oh, 10, 11 o'clock. Well, there's still moisture in the ground. That's going to happen with Gator blades, because what it's meant to do is to keep the blade of grass underneath the deck longer, to be chopped up more, and then to be discharged at a smaller length of blade. So once you it's cut up about 2, 3, 4 times like an Exmark does. That's why Exmark struggles with side discharging when there's dew evident on the grass, or it's wet grass. You know what I'm saying, guys? So that's Deck Talk 3. Hope that helps Alpha Lawns. I wanted to clarify the speed thing, and also want to say, listen, if standards work for you, that's cool. I'm not against standards. I'm not the end all to end all. I just here's my thing. I've been in this business 19 years. I've used a lot of mowers. I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm trying to pass that on. And sometimes people get so passionate that they don't want to take sound advice because they know better. And that's cool, because I was kind of like that too. You know, I was kind of like that too. But if you'll take my advice, you'll save yourself a lot of money and a lot of hardship. You know, you want to bust through lawns. You want to get the biggest zero turn you possibly can get. You want to get the highest horsepower you can possibly get. You want to get through these lawns. So that's my suggestion. You know, don't do the step up. Don't go to the 21 to the 36. I think the Toro and the Exmark 30s are excellent mowers. You got to watch the trannies a little bit with them, but I think that replaces the 36-inch walk behind, period. Just my opinion. I own 2 30 Time Masters. I have not had very much trouble with them. The only thing I have issue with is that after the belt wears in, the tranny doesn't like to go up hills. It'll go down hills and it'll go side to side, but it doesn't like to go up hills. I'm working with the factory on that. We're going to see what we can do. If there's a fix for that, or, you know, putting on a new belt. I am currently working with my local dealer about that, because I have 2 of them, and they both, after wearing in, both did the same thing. I personally love this mower. If this mower broke down tomorrow, this is how much I love it. I will go buy another 30-inch Time Master. Flat out. That's how much I love it. It takes the place of that 36. It's better than the 21. It's light. I don't do a lot of push mowing, so I'm not hammering this mower. So that's what I'm talking about. You know, if you're at a 36, I suggest going to a 60. Here's the truth of the matter. I've never not got my 60-inch mower in somewhere. There's nowhere, like on my old house lots where, you know, the small postage stamps, that's a 60-inch. You know, if there's a bad area, I just put my foot on the deck pedal and I lift it up a little bit, and then you don't scalp grass. I mean, it's not brain surgery. It's not like that you're going to go any faster with one of those, you know, standers. You know, you're going to get on a little lawn you're going to outperform me. That's not true. My 60 goes anywhere. You know, my 60 will do all postage stamps, and I take it on all the postage stamps too. And I've actually done a video. Go look at the video. It's only like 4 stripes, and I've used it on that. In fact, I said, don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't use a 60-inch zero turn. I mean, that's probably one of the smallest lawns I have. I have a few small ones, but that is the smallest. And you're not going to make up any more time than I made up right there, just because your mower seems like it would get in and get out a little bit better. So that's my opinion. You guys do whatever you want. You guys are making money. You guys are awesome. And, you know, I'm just giving you some advice that's worked well for us. And, you know, at this spot in my life, after, you know, 19 years, we've got a pretty good handle on these mowers. So you guys have a good one. That's Deck Talk 3. I'll come at you next week with some other stuff.